Hello, so super quick intro before we start the video, but I know this is a really different video than I normally do because I do a lot of guitar tutorials, guitar covers. I've even done makeup videos recently for whatever reason, but what you might not know is I've been playing basketball for 15 years, competitively for 13 years, and on all of those teams, I was a shooter, a three-point shooter. Shooting's just always kind of been my thing. I'm a two guard, so yeah, I thought that since we're all stuck inside, I know a lot of players might be wanting to work on their shot. This is the perfect time to really perfect your form, and being that I have a lot of information and experience and training and over the years, I thought that I might be able to share some of that knowledge I have with you and help you out if you don't really know where to start, or maybe you do and you're just looking for drills. So yeah, let's get into it. First, I'm just going to walk you through the basic mechanics and tell you exactly what you need to do to have perfect form, and then I'm going to show you some drills you can do to practice this form over and over again until it becomes second nature. For any of this, you do not need a basket. All you need is a basketball and yourself, and you can be any skill level from like complete beginner to professional. Professional basketball players use drills like these all the time because just to fine-tune their instrument. But I will be showing some drills at the very end where you can use a basket if you have access to it. But again, you don't need a basket. So let's get into it. If you've been to your fair share of basketball camps, you've probably heard the acronym BEEF when learning how to achieve perfect form. So B stands for balance, E for eyes on target, second E for elbows bent, and then F for follow through, obviously. So I'm going to walk you through each of those steps because I know it sounds simple, but there are a lot of little things that go into really making
good beef.
Good beef. We're gonna start with B, balance. So to start off, you're gonna want to stand with your feet shoulder width apart. And when I was like 5 years old, I used to do this just to make sure I really was shoulder width apart. So if that helps you, you can do that. And then you're gonna stand with your right foot slightly above your left foot, okay? And then I'll stand this way so you can see. So your right foot slightly above your left foot, and then you're gonna be on the balls of your feet. And then the very last thing you want to do is have your shoulders back, right? So you're bending your shoulders back. There are very few things in life where you're supposed to have your shoulders like this. That's almost like never the right thing to do. So just make sure you're straight, you're bent, and you're balanced. So shoulder width apart, balls of feet, right foot a little bit in front of the left foot, and then shoulders back. Okay. Next is the first E, eyes on target. So your target may vary, right? Like if you have a basket, then your target is going to be 3 inches above the front of the rim, right? But not everyone might have access to a basket right now, so your target is basically like if you're shooting against a wall, right? It that little like line in the brick right there. So it varies. But in order to shoot at your target, you're going to want to see your target, right? So you want a shooting window. So when you're in your shot pocket here and you're balanced, right, you have all the components of B, you're going to have the ball here, right? And this area right here, this is your window where you look at the target, right? And this is how you want to be. Just understand like the physics of it, like the motion of the ball, right? The reason you're aiming for 3 inches above the rim and not directly at the rim is because obviously if you shoot directly at the rim, right, the ball, it's an arc in the air, right? It's not straight. Next is the second E, which is elbows aligned. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Just you need to make sure that your elbow, your knee, and your leading foot are all aligned. So you have to imagine like they're all attached on a string, right? So they're all lined up. And the most important thing here is when you're bending down and everything's aligned, right, make sure it stays that way. Because usually when I'm shooting free throws and I'm missing a lot of shots, I realize it's because I get like off balance like this, or I'm pushing down too much. You want to make sure your shoulders are even the whole time. That usually solves all my problems when I'm missing a lot. So shoulders even the whole time. Stop. And now the last and final step, and what I think personally is the most important, is F, your follow through. So for your follow through, it's pretty simple, right? When you're in your shot pocket, if you didn't know, when the ball is here, it's called your shot pocket. You want to make sure that your hand isn't flat on the ball. I can't even do it anymore. I'm so like trained not to do that. You want to be on your finger pads, and you want this little pocket of air right here. Shot pocket. Maybe that's what it's called that. I don't know. So right here, and then yeah, you want to release off of your index and middle finger. And you have to make sure it's only those fingers. Usually when I have a wacky shot, it's usually because it went off my pinky or my ring finger, something like that. The reason why you want it to go off your index and your middle finger is because you want to get that spin when it's in the air. Something that might help if you're first starting out and having trouble getting, sorry, there's bugs. If you're having trouble getting the ball to spin like that, try to get I do this all the time anyway, like even now, like not just to practice. I don't know if other people do this, so I won't, but I put my fingers in the lines of the ball so I can get a good grip on it. So that was the beginning part of the follow through. Now for the last part. So when you release, right, it rolls off your index fingers, you're getting that spin. You want to make sure you bend your wrist. When I was a kid, it was like giraffe, not a snake, right? You want to bend the wrist, but you want to make sure you're not mechanical about it, like you're not like that, right? You want to have a bouncy wrist. So you see how it shook a little up there? It really makes a huge difference. I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure why, but a bouncy rubber wrist really takes your shot to the next level. And the last step for a perfect follow through, this only applies if you're shooting an actual basket, but it's put your hand in the cookie jar. So meaning when you're following through, you want to imagine that your hand is like dipping into the basket from your perspective. So like you're reaching into the cookie jar. Now that you've learned all the components of beef and you know technically what you're supposed to do, you want to practice that over and over again so it becomes natural, so you can do it in games, or you know, if you're just shooting around, I don't know what environments you guys are playing basketball in. But first, I'm gonna give you some drills that you can do if you don't have a basket at home, and then I'm gonna give you drills you can do if you have a basket. Even if you have a basket, I strongly recommend doing the non-basket drills too, because they are really helpful, and sometimes it really makes a difference when you're shooting without a basket, because you're less focused on actually making the shot and you're more focused on your form itself. So that being said, let's get into it. This first drill you can do anywhere. You can do outside, you can do inside, you can do laying on your bed, and that is lying down and just shooting straight up to yourself. This really works on your follow through. You know, obviously the other things don't really apply here, but the way you can tell if you are making the shot is if the ball is coming straight back to you. Like, see that? It's behind me, so that means I did something wrong. Or if it's the opposite, if it goes forward, you're also doing something wrong. You want it to come straight back into your hands. The next drill you can do is off a wall, any wall. It helps if, you know, it's not a blank wall. Like if there are bricks, you can like really aim at like a specific brick or a specific line or crevice or something. And you can do a lot of things off the wall, right? Just normal this stuff. Or you could do one-handed shooting with one hand really helps if your guide hand is getting in the way a lot. Like some people move the hand here and use it to push, or some people, you know, I've seen some people do this. It's a odd tendency. So if you're doing anything like that, you're doing weird things with your non-dominant hand, then definitely shoot with one hand. And you can do this. So you can say this to yourself: crouch, present, shot pocket, shot. The drill we did like a million times, and just do that over and over again. And the last thing you can do, obviously, is shoot to a partner. My dad is too busy for me right now, so I'll just show you with my imaginary friend. You can imagine someone is standing over there, and oh, I shot to them, and now they caught it, and they're going to shoot back to me. So the basic point for these drills is, like I said, not really focusing on making the shot, but focusing on the mechanics themselves and just getting them down, making them natural. Anyway, once you've done those, if you have a basket, I have some more drills for you that might be of use. So this first drill you can do, I call it the Swish Drill. You get as close as you possibly can, right? And you're just focusing on getting it over the rim and getting perfect swishes. And the thing is you're trying to get as many in a row as possible. You can set goals for yourself, 10, 20, 30. But the catch is it doesn't count if it's not a swish. So if it hits the rim a little, see that wouldn't count. And again, this drill is good because you focus on your actual form and less about making the shot because it's so close. And you really, really need perfect form if you want to swish it. Like there, I leaned in a little too much. So other drills you can do to really focus on fine-tuning your form with a basket is this one. For this drill, just like the last drill, you're going to start as close to the basket as possible and shoot. And if you make 2 in a row, then you can take a step back and then shoot again. And if you make 2 in a row there, then you can take a step back. The catch is, if you miss, then you're going to have to take a step forward. And it can get a little frustrating, I'm not going to lie, but just keep working at it and try to see how far back you can get. It's kind of fun. Honestly, there are like an infinite amount of shooting drills you can do. You can go from elbow to elbow, block to block, you know, wing 3 to wing 3. The point is to get as much repetition as possible to really get the this form down and ingrain it in your brain and make it second nature. So, you know, come game time, you know, you don't have to think, okay, B, balance, E, what does that stand for again? You're making it come natural. Just make sure that your main focus is the form. So if you, you know, if your shot hits the front of the rim but is completely straight and the arc was pretty, you know, don't worry about it. You're getting it. I hope these drills are helpful. The perfect time to do something like this is now when we're all stuck at home, and, you know, if you're on a team or something, you're not going to be playing in games for a while. Yeah, I know this video is like a little different than what I normally do, but I'll have more guitar tutorial videos soon, and I'm planning this big cover that I'm going to post as soon as I possibly can. So yes.